crashing. Delta's Flight 191 had just about completed its trip from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. There were 161 people aboard, passengers and crew. The weather was terrible, heavy thunderstorms. The pilot was heading toward runway 17 left. It was passing over Highway 114. Apparently, a sudden shift in wind forced the plane down. The landing gear hit at least 2 cars on the highway, crushing one of them and decapitating the driver. Witnesses say the Delta airliner bounced into the air again, clearing some light poles, hitting into a water tower, and then crashing several hundred yards short of its designated runway, 17L. The plane literally blew apart, and its own fuel tanks exploded. Here's how it looked to witnesses and officials on the ground.
Coming right behind.
We was watching the weather and was watching airplanes and that, but this one started coming in real low. We thought it was going to hit the building on the other side of the bridge, and we noticed the nose was starting to come real low, and as it got to the freeway over there, it hit a car and just wiped it out. When it did, it just threw the wing into a 45, and then when the wing hit, it just burst into a flame of fire. And we watched it come across the bridge over to here, and we seen it hit here, and when it hit here, it just exploded.
The body. They have got personnel request now. Leave the body where they are. You're changing too quick. You didn't tell them it's
Y'all hang on. I'm sorry.
We have a witness here, Anthony Rogers. Anthony, if you'd come in here a second, can you tell us what you saw, where you were when all this happened?
I was headed west on 114, and the rain was so hard you couldn't see 30 foot in front of you. And all of a sudden, it seemed like just caught a tire, a glimpse of a tire, and a big jolt just bounced my car. I pulled over and trying to gain myself, and I got out and walked over toward this other car, and saw the guy had been taken out of it, and he was like 30 foot from his car. He was decapitated, and I don't know, it just still trying to gather everything right now. I can't believe it happened.
So his car, did the plane hit your car and then hit his car?
Yes.
What happened? Did you see anything after that?
I turned back and I saw just like a big explosion right over there, the ball of fire and the mushroom cloud.
No. Okay. Over here. Were you on the plane?
Yeah.
What happened? Do you know what happened?
I think we hit a water tower. I think it was a wind shear.
Did you see any lightning?
No.
You didn't see lightning strike it, did you?
We seen lightning strike, but we don't know if it hit the plane or not.
The L-1011 fleet is under 10 years old. That particular aircraft, I'm not sure.
Have you had any problems with this plane in the past?
No, it's probably one of the most reliable pieces of equipment that we have. over 99% reliability factor.
Any word from the service people in Fort Lauderdale about the plane today? Did anyone observe anything, any problems with it?
It seems to be purely something that happened on final approach in conjunction with the weather.
You didn't tell them it's
The scene, of course, was a nightmarish scene, but it wasn't, as we said, total devastation, because there were some sections that were indeed not burned, and probably the passengers who walked away, and others were seen walking away, not just the one that we saw. Those passengers more than likely were in that section of the aircraft.
This is Mr. Jay Slusher. Mr. Slusher was a passenger on the Delta airliner that went down this afternoon. He arrived at our emergency room by ambulance shortly before 8 o'clock. His condition is stable, good condition. He has minor abrasions. He'd like to make a statement telling the story of what happened, then he'll answer questions for as long as he feels able.
Basically what happened is we were on approach landing, and I think we hit what they call a wind shear. And the ride got rougher and rougher and rougher. And I thought we had landed, and I think in fact we had hit something. The next thing I know, I saw the flame coming, and I thought we were going to explode. After that, I got sort of jumbled around, and I ended up sitting in the seat on my side. I unbuckled the belt, jumped out of the plane, and ran. And basically, after that, tried to help the people that I saw that was injured.